Sometimes the world feels too loud. People laugh easily, start conversations without fear, make friends without hesitation, while you stand in the shadows, quiet, unnoticed, with words trapped somewhere deep inside. And if you've ever felt that the world is too noisy and you're too quiet, this video will change how you see yourself. Today I'll tell the story of Lucas, a man who lived almost his entire life as a ghost, until the day he finally allowed himself to shine. And you will see how a life can change the moment you allow yourself to be you. This isn't just a story. It's the journey every introvert walks through, yet almost nobody talks about. A journey through fears, loneliness, awkward moments, and the incredible inner awakening waiting on the other side. And if you stay until the end, you'll get practical exercises that will help you feel confident even in the toughest social moments. Lucas was born in a small, sunny town. On the outside, an ordinary boy, quiet, with wide eyes that looked like puddles reflecting the sky. But even as a child, he understood the world loves the loud ones. On the school playground, he stood aside, holding a wrinkled notebook, drawing robots in futuristic cities, while others played noisy games. His teacher once told him, "Lucas, you need to be more active. People won't hear you if you stay silent." These words carved themselves into his memory. The boy looked at his class, bright, loud, like a flock of birds, and saw himself as a small shadow by the window. In his teenage years, things got even harder. School celebrations were a nightmare. Crowds, lights, laughter, loud music. Lucas stands by the wall, holding a cup of lemonade, his hands trembling. He doesn't know where to look. And when a girl from class approaches him, he blushes so strongly he feels like a red signal light. After such events, he would stare at the mirror for a long time and ask, "Why can't I be as easy, as effortless as everyone else?" But he never found an answer. When Lucas grew up, he hoped things would change. New job, new people, new life. But on his very first day, he realized the adult world isn't much different from the schoolyard. In the office, everyone talks easily, laughs loudly, discusses evening plans, and Lucas sits in front of his monitor pretending to be very busy just to avoid conversation. One evening, Lucas returns home. It's drizzling, raindrops tapping on his hood like tiny circles. He opens the door to his apartment, dark and silent. And suddenly a thought hits him. It feels like I'm not living my own life, like I'm just a spectator in my own movie. That night became a turning point. Lucas sat on the floor, leaned against the wall, and cried for the first time in years. Not silently, not inside, but truly. Tears soaked his shirt, and he understood he couldn't continue like this. The next day, Lucas decided to see a psychologist. The first sessions felt strange, awkward, but gradually he began to understand. The problem wasn't that he was quiet. The problem was that he'd spent his whole life trying to be loud, even though his nature was different. The psychologist gave him a simple exercise. Every day he had to do one small social action. Smile at a cashier. Ask a coworker about their day. Say good morning to a neighbor. And write down how he felt afterwards. And then one day, the first miracle. Lucas stood in line at the supermarket. An elderly woman in front of him dropped her coins. Yesterday, he would have pretended not to notice. But today, he picked them up, smiled, helped her. She smiled back. And something lit inside his chest. At work, he approached a group of co-workers discussing movies. He didn't know what to say. But he managed, "I watched a great film yesterday." They turned to him, listened. And for the first time, Lucas felt heard, truly heard. But the real shift came later. The office announced a new project that required a presentation. The manager asked, "Who's ready to present to the clients?" Everyone went silent. And suddenly, Lucas raised his hand. Preparing for the presentation, he spent nights standing in front of the mirror. He's scared, but he moves forward. And then the big day, a large conference hall, clients staring at the screen. Lucas steps forward, papers trembling in his hands, his voice at first quiet, but then steadier. And at the end, applause, real, loud. Lucas realized introversion is not a curse. It's not a weakness. It's a strength, just a quiet one. The strength to observe, the strength to listen, the strength to feel deeper. Here are some exercises that help Lucas and will help you. Do one small social action every day. Consistency is what counts. Before any social step, tell yourself, "I just need 10 seconds of courage." It works. Introverts often worry about thinking slowly, but a pause makes speech powerful. Practice it. Don't compare yourself to extroverts. You are two different kinds of strength. And if you saw yourself in this story, know this: you are not alone. You may be quiet, but the world will hear you. Once you allow yourself to speak, maybe softly, but confidently,